Welcome back to the SCA Cricket Show. Now, the Dennis Meyer International Veteran Sixes is an annual event held in Singapore. Cricketers over the age of 35 get together over a weekend for a lot of fun. Sixes cricket is a shorter format of the game where there are 6 members of the team rather than the traditional 11. It also tries to capture the best elements of the sport, a little bit like rugby sevens. So there's lots of match action, close finishes and high scores. Well, instead of me trying to explain to you what happened, let's talk to one of the founding members of this event, Mr. Amar Hanspal.
We used to travel around Southeast Asia and go on many sixes tournaments in various countries here. Have fun, but the thing is the sixes competition itself was not that great. Either it was overpriced or there were not enough games or it was too competitive with all youth sliding around the place and screaming LBW from third man and whatever you have it, right? So a couple of us is like, what are we wasting our time on this? You know, just coming and not even enjoying ourselves. There's no fun in it. So the idea sprang to mind that let's try to do a fun tournament for over 35s, have a couple of beers, have fun, make the competition more evened out. So came back here, spoke to Dennis Meyer and a couple of other guys on the committee at that time. And we decided to go ahead, and the first tournament was held in 2002, where it was just called Spirits Veterans International Cricket Sixes. That's what it's all about. Started with 9 teams first year, 5 of them still come back. Then we have 11, 13, 17. The peak we've had is 19 teams, right? This year we have 15 teams. But unfortunately, a very, very close friend, Dennis, died a couple of years ago on this ground itself. So it was very, very natural to name the Sixes after Dennis.
Tell us a little bit more about Dennis, the man the Sixes are named after.
Well, I think everybody in Singapore cricket knows Dennis. Big smile, happy man. I would say, if you talk about social cricket, that was the man. There was not a single person I've met who didn't like Dennis, right? He was an amazing guy. And I tell you, some of the guys coming back here, volunteering, playing, it's only because of Dennis, right? And every time we come, he stops the rain. But this year he hasn't been successful. But it's fantastic. And I'm like, one of my best and happiest memories of Dennis is watching a game at the Kallang where Singapore was playing Hong Kong for Division 6 or 5 or whatever it was. And Glenn was playing along with Yogi, both of whom are members. And the only spectator there was Dennis, and the other one was me. And Dennis made so much noise with the bugle and the hat and the fan and whatever else he had in his hand that the umpire had to tell him to keep quiet, otherwise you would have to throw him off the field. But that was Dennis for you. He just loved the game.
Okay, Amar, tell us a bit more about this year's Sixes, the format and number of teams. I know the weather's played a big issue this year.
Well, you know, it's very funny. The first time in 9 years we've had rain, this kind. Every weekend we have the Sixes every year, doesn't rain. Only once it had like 1 hour delay, which we could tackle very easily. And we use 2 grounds, so it works much better. But this year, today has been unexpected. But you see, the spirit of all the players, they're still here, they're playing in the rain, and we're all doing it for the love of the game, for the love of friends, and for Dennis Meyer.
So 2011 saw 15 teams participate. They came from Singapore, Australia, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines and other Southeast Asian countries, as well as 1 team which came all the way from Kuwait. They played over the weekend of the 5th and 6th June at the Ceylon Sports Club and Indian Association grounds on Balestier Road. If you can recall, it was a pretty wet weekend, and while all the other outdoor cricket was cancelled, these guys carried on in the rain. But the best thing about the Dennis Meyer tournament, well, there were 4 trophies up for grabs. In other words, 8 of 15 teams played in 4 finals in the hope of taking back silverware. Here's a look at who won what. The bowl final, which was played between Misfits ELOG and SCC Gentlemen. Misfits won by 4 wickets. Then the plate final between ANZA Champs versus CBB SC. ANZA Champs won by 12 runs. Then it was the cup final between Kalava and MG7 CBB. Kalava won by 3 wickets. And finally, the Shield final, SCC Players versus Master Batters. SCC Players won by 3 runs. But wait, there's more. Like any other tournament, there were outstanding individual awards too. Best Batsman went to Roy Mercado of MG7. Best Bowler went to Ian Gibbs of the ANZA Champs. Player of the tournament was Peter Alexander of the Misfits Master Batters. The Dennis Meyer Fair Play Award was given to MG7. And then the moment of the tournament. Graham Gardiner of Spirits Rascals for a magnificent over-the-shoulder catch in the rain.
Don't go anywhere because we have plenty more in the show. We'll move from outdoor cricket to indoor. And stay tuned for some handy coaching advice in our Tip of the Day segment. Welcome back.